Here are some tips for shopping for a used car according to Old Money. These are questions that he recommends that you ask the owner. Is the title to the vehicle in your name? Do you have it in your possession? Again, this is if you're skipping the dealership and you're going straight to an individual. Are you, preferably so, the first and only owner? How long have you owned the car? Who did you buy it from? Why are you selling the car? Now, he does say if there's hesitation or a fishy story, beware. And the fishy story can be anything, but a lot of times people will be straightforward. Like, I remember one time asking somebody why they were selling a car, and the man straight up said, this is an additional car that we used only for family road trips and we no longer need it. Honestly, as much as that was an honest answer, I don't want somebody's road trip vehicle. But that's an example. Has it ever been in an accident? Carfax may tell you this. A door or a front quarter panel that's different tint or texture of paint may reveal this, as sometimes the repair paint will not perfectly match the original. Observation looking at the car, right? Is the car a salvage title? If so, you don't want it, regardless of what the story is that the owner tells you. How was the car used? Driven to work, parked outside, driven by teenagers? Who is your mechanic? Has he regularly maintained this car? Do you have the receipts of all the service done in the car? This is highly preferable. I've seen some car listings where they do have that information and they say all of the car's records and like dealer maintenance receipts are included, and they can show that to you if you want it. Other things to do: test drive the vehicle by yourself if possible. Turn on the radio to make sure it works, but turn it off while driving so you can listen for suspicious noises coming from the engine or brakes. I remember watching a video of this guy. I told y'all about this guy before. He does tips. I'm going to put the name on the screen because I can't remember his name, but he was saying that when you go to test drive a car, you need to test drive that car for at least 30 minutes because you need to know how this car runs. And a lot of times that little 5-10 minute test drive, you're not going to start to hear or pick up on those things. He also advised that you check the car, like feel the hood of it, or try to get close to the engine to see if maybe they were running the car before you got there to come see it, because maybe they were doing that because they typically have issues with starting the car and they wanted to make sure that it would start. Park the car after you've driven it. Wait a few minutes. Look underneath to see if there are oil or water leaks on the pavement. All of this, if you have an uncle, a daddy, a husband, somebody that could come with you, do that too. Can I afford this vehicle? That's a question to ask yourself. Can I afford to own this vehicle? Be sure to budget insurance, potential repairs, and fuel efficiency. This is something my uncle was talking to me about. He was saying how, a lot of people go and they buy a new car and they only think about the car note, but they don't factor in gas. Insurance is probably the biggest one. You get a $700 car note. Did you also factor in the insurance? Because it's not just going to be $700 for that car. You got to pay insurance. You're going to have to pay for gas. You're going to have to pay for the oil change, upkeep. Are you going to be able to afford tires for that car when you need it? All of the things, right? And these are questions that we don't necessarily think about up front, but it's important to gauge these things. And these are questions that make it apparent why when I said that when he mentions in this book, Old Money is not privy to just financing cars all the time. They do what's within their means. They will buy a cash car. That's a really good buy. They did their research. They make sure that the car is going to run properly. Get the cash car, knock that out of the way, and everything else they're just paying out of pocket as it presents itself, rather than paying $700 plus for a car every month, plus the maintenance, plus the insurance, plus all of the things. It's not about whether or not you actually have the money. It's about, is it a practical buy, and does it make sense to dish money away like this when I don't have to? Does the vehicle work for me on a daily basis? Think about your life. Think about this car. Do they match? Is the car appropriate? Why do I want to buy this vehicle? Do I need to buy this vehicle? Am I making an emotional decision in purchasing this vehicle? Have I considered all of my options? Old Money saying, when there is doubt, there is no doubt. This is coming from the Old Money book by Byron Tully. Very short read. Even with all of the sections that I'm reading, I'm not really covering the entire book, but you see how small this is. You can read this book in a day or two, and it has very practical life advice that I feel like can benefit anyone. The goal is not to make you a rich person. The goal is to help you to adjust your life in a way that you can live more comfortably, have better experiences, and just improve your quality of life by being more conscious of these decisions that he speaks about.